want to unlock funding for your dream research.
Well, it all starts with a killer proposal.
A research proposal.
Yeah, it's your chance to really showcase your vision, you know, convince others to invest in those ideas.
Like a secret weapon, then.
Exactly.
The way to turn those brilliant ideas into reality.
Yeah, but crafting a winning proposal, it's not just about listing facts and figures. It's about weaving a compelling narrative, you know, one that captures the reader's attention and makes them actually care about your work.
So, like, it's storytelling.
Exactly.
But with research. How do we make our proposals as gripping as a page-turner?
Well, think of it like this. You're taking the reader on a journey. You start by setting the stage right. You introduce the problem or the question that your research is going to address, and then you lay out a clear roadmap. You know, you're guiding them through your methodology, data analysis, expected outcomes.
So it's all about clarity.
Yes.
And structure, making sure the reader can follow our line of thinking.
Absolutely. You want to avoid overwhelming them with jargon or burying them in all those technical details.
Right.
Imagine explaining your research to a colleague in a completely different field.
Okay, yeah.
How would you make it clear and engaging for them?
I see. Keep it simple, but not simplistic.
Right.
We want to show our expertise without alienating the reader.
Precisely. And remember, every word counts.
Oh, yeah.
Choose language that is precise and impactful. You know, avoid any unnecessary fluff or ambiguity.
It sounds like strategy is super important.
It is.
It's not just about the research itself, it's about how we present it.
Exactly. And one crucial aspect of that presentation is understanding your audience. Who are you writing for? What are their interests, priorities, expectations?
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No.
We need to tailor our proposals to specific funders.
Absolutely. Imagine, like, you're pitching a research project on renewable energy. Your approach would be quite different if you were presenting to, let's say, a government agency that was focused on environmental sustainability.
Right.
Versus, let's say, a venture capital firm looking for profitable innovations.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We need to speak their language, highlighting the aspects of our research that will resonate most with them.
Precisely. Do your research, understand their mission and their funding priorities, and tailor your message accordingly.
It's like detective work.
It is.
Figuring out what they're really looking for and then crafting our proposal to meet those needs.
It is. It's about persuasion, building a compelling case for why your research deserves their support.
Speaking of persuasion, I've heard that storytelling can play a big role in making research proposals more engaging. Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. Think about the most memorable presentations you've seen. They often involve a captivating story, right? Something that draws you in, makes you care about the topic.
Okay, so how do we inject that storytelling magic into our research proposals? Do we need to invent fictional characters?
Yeah.
Or like dramatic plot twists?
No. It's more about finding the inherent narrative within your research.
Okay.
What's the problem that you're trying to solve? What's at stake? What's the potential impact of your findings?
So we need to tap into the human element of our research.
Yes.
Show why it matters.
Yeah.
And how it could make a difference in the world.
Exactly. Think about the bigger picture. You know, how does your research connect to broader societal challenges, scientific advancements, human experiences?
It's about painting a vivid picture with our words, making the reader feel the significance of our work.
Precisely. And one powerful tool for achieving this is using concrete examples. Instead of just stating abstract concepts, you know, illustrate your points with real-world scenarios, case studies, or relatable analogies.
So instead of just saying, our research will improve public health, we might share a specific story of how a similar study led to a breakthrough in disease prevention.
Exactly.
Got it. Those concrete details make our research come alive and create a lasting impression on the reader.
They do.
This is all incredibly helpful. I'm feeling more inspired to approach my next research proposal with a fresh perspective.
I love to hear that, but we're not done yet. There's another crucial element we need to discuss, and that's guidelines.
Okay.
They might not be the most exciting aspect,
No.
but they can make or break your proposal.
Guidelines, you mean like formatting rules, word limits, submission deadlines?
Precisely. Think of them as the rules of the game, right? You can have the most brilliant research and the most compelling narrative, but if you don't follow the guidelines, your proposal might be disqualified before it's even considered.
So it's about dotting our I's and crossing our T's,
Yeah.
making sure we're playing by the rules.
Absolutely. It demonstrates professionalism, attention to detail, ability to follow instructions, qualities that funding agencies value very highly.
Okay, I'm convinced. Guidelines are crucial,
Mm-hmm.
but they can sometimes feel overwhelming,
Uh-huh.
especially when each funder seems to have their own unique set of requirements.
Yeah.
How do we keep track of it all?
That's where organization and meticulousness comes in.
Okay.
Create a system for tracking deadlines, formatting requirements, specific instructions for each funding opportunity. Don't leave anything to chance.
So it's like preparing for a big exam,
Yeah.
making sure we studied all the materials and we're ready to answer any question that comes our way.
That's a great analogy. And just like studying for an exam, give yourself plenty of time.
Right.
Rushing through the application process is a recipe for mistakes and missed opportunities.
This is starting to feel like a high-stakes game.
Kind of.
Every detail matters. The competition is fierce.
In a way it is, but remember, you have a secret weapon. Your passion, your expertise, your belief in the power of your research.
So it's about channeling that passion into a compelling proposal that captures the reader's attention and convinces them to invest in our vision.
Exactly. And when you do that successfully, you unlock a world of possibilities for your research.
So we've talked about clarity, structure, audience, and even storytelling. It's amazing how much goes into crafting a truly effective proposal.
And we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
There are so many layers to this process, each one contributing to the overall impact.
I'm curious about something you mentioned earlier about how our approach would differ depending on if we're presenting to a government agency versus a venture capital firm. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. Let's say, hypothetically, your research focuses on developing a new type of solar panel.
Okay.
If you're seeking funding from a government agency, you might want to emphasize the environmental benefits.
Right, like reducing carbon emissions or promoting clean energy.
Exactly. Government agencies are often driven by public good
Right.
and policy objectives. But if you're pitching to, let's say, a venture capital firm, your focus would likely shift to the commercial viability.
Ah, okay. So you'd highlight the potential market size, return on investment, and scalability of your technology.
Exactly. It's about understanding the motivations and priorities of each funder and tailoring your message accordingly.
It's almost like translating our research into different dialects, each one resonating with a specific audience.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And this principle applies not only to the content of your proposal, but also to the way you present data and evidence.
Oh, how so?
Well, different audiences have different levels of familiarity, right, with
Yeah.
technical concepts. Some might be impressed by complex statistical analysis,
Right.
while others might prefer clear visualizations or real-world examples.
So we need to strike a balance
Yes.
between rigor and accessibility.
Exactly. You want to demonstrate your expertise without losing your audience in a sea of jargon, overwhelming them with too much detail.
This all makes me think about the review process. How do we ensure our proposal stands out among a sea of applications?
That's a great question. Reviewers often have to sift through hundreds, if not thousands, of proposals.
Yeah.
So making yours memorable and impactful is crucial.
So what's the secret sauce? How do we make our proposal rise to the top of the pile?
One key ingredient is clarity. Make sure your research question is well defined, your methodology is sound, and your expected outcomes are clearly stated.
Mm-hmm. A confused reviewer is unlikely to be a supportive one.
No.
So it's back to basics. Clear writing, logical structure, and a compelling narrative.
Exactly. But there are other, subtle nuances that can make a big difference.
Okay, like what?
For example, pay attention to the visual presentation of your proposal.
Visual presentation, you mean things like font choice and spacing?
Those are important, but I'm thinking more broadly.
Okay.
Consider incorporating visuals, things like graphs, charts, or even infographics.
Ah, okay, to present our data more engagingly.
Exactly. A well-designed visual can often convey complex information more effectively than text.
Right, and don't underestimate the power of white space. A cluttered, densely packed proposal can be overwhelming.
It can.
So it's about finding the right balance between substance and style.
Precisely. And remember, your proposal is a reflection of you as a researcher.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to showcase your passion, your expertise, and your commitment to your work.
It's like an audition then.
Yeah.
A chance to make a great first impression and convince the judges that we're worthy of their investment.
That's a great way to think about it. And just like in any audition, preparation is key. Practice your pitch, refine your message, and make sure you're ready to answer any questions.
All this talk about competition and standing out
Mhm.
makes me wonder about the emotional side of this process.
Mm,
Writing a research proposal can be quite daunting,
yeah,
especially when so much is at stake.
it's true. Rejection is always a possibility. It can be disheartening to pour your heart and soul into something,
Yeah.
only to have it turned down.
So how do we manage those expectations and stay resilient?
One key is to remember that rejection is not a reflection of your worth as a researcher.
Okay.
It's often a matter of fit, timing, or simply the sheer volume of applications.
So it's not personal, it's just part of the game.
Exactly. And every rejection is an opportunity for growth. Use the feedback you receive to refine your proposal, strengthen your arguments, and identify areas for improvement.
So it's a continuous learning process. We're constantly refining our craft and honing our skills.
Absolutely. And the more you practice, the more confident and resilient you'll become.
That's reassuring to hear. I'm starting to realize that writing a research proposal is a journey in itself, full of challenges and triumphs. It's about more than just securing funding. It's about clarifying our vision, refining our ideas, and sharing our passion with the world.
That's beautifully said. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters.
So even if our proposal doesn't get funded this time around, the process itself is valuable.
Absolutely. It forces us to think critically, articulate our goals, and develop a compelling narrative.
Right.
Those skills will serve you well throughout your career, regardless of whether you receive funding.
This conversation has been incredibly insightful. It feels like I've gained a whole new perspective.
It's been my pleasure to share these insights. And remember, even the most experienced researchers face setbacks and rejections along the way. It's part of the process.
So we need to embrace the challenges and keep pushing forward.
Exactly. Believe in your ideas, refine your craft, and never stop seeking opportunities.
It sounds like resilience and a growth mindset are essential for anyone going into research proposal writing.
Absolutely. It's a competitive landscape, and setbacks are inevitable. But each challenge is an opportunity to learn and adapt and refine our approach.
It's encouraging to hear that even seasoned researchers face these hurdles. It makes the whole process feel less daunting.
And remember, the research proposal is just one step in a much larger journey. Even if a particular proposal doesn't get funded, the process itself can be so valuable.
Not so.
Well, think about all the skills we've talked about. Clear communication, persuasive writing, audience analysis, strategic thinking. These are all essential skills for any researcher, regardless of whether they're seeking funding.
So it's about more than just securing resources for a specific project. It's about developing ourselves as researchers and communicators.
Exactly. And who knows? The insights that you gain while crafting a research proposal might even spark new research questions or lead you down unexpected paths of inquiry.
That's an interesting perspective. It reframes the whole proposal writing process as a catalyst for growth and discovery.
And let's not forget the power of collaboration. Seek out feedback from mentors, colleagues, or even friends who can offer a fresh perspective.
So it's not a solitary endeavor. We don't have to go it alone.
Absolutely not. Bouncing ideas off of others, getting constructive criticism, incorporating diverse viewpoints can significantly strengthen your proposal.
It's like having a team of advisors helping us refine our ideas and present our research in the most compelling way.
That's a great way to put it, and don't be afraid to reach out to program officers or funding agencies to discuss your research ideas, and get their input.
So building relationships is important too. It's not just about submitting a proposal into a black box and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Cultivating connections, seeking guidance, and engaging in dialogue can make a big difference.
This conversation has been incredibly illuminating. It's like you've demystified the whole research proposal process.
Yeah.
It feels more approachable and less intimidating.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And remember, the most important ingredient in any research proposal is your passion. Let your enthusiasm for your work shine through, and your chances of success will soar.
So it's about more than just ticking boxes and following guidelines. It's about conveying our genuine excitement for the research and its potential impact.
Precisely. When you believe in your work, others will believe in it too. So go forth, embrace the challenge, and share your ideas with the world.
That's inspiring advice. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights today.
It's been my pleasure, and to all our listeners, remember that research has the power to change the world. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Who knows what amazing discoveries await?